Greetings sailors and welcome back to World of Warships and a look at another operations related thing. This time it is the new test operation mode we've got called Ops with Flagships, where if you are somehow unaware, the regular high tier ops have been modified with special ships that basically buff the other AI ships around them, but those buffs usually come with, well, not usually, they do come with a weakness as well. So we've already had the first type, which was ships that had they buffed their allies to do more fire damage, but took more fire damage themselves if they had 2 or more fires burning. And we're now on to the second type, which is torpedoes, and you sink ships and they drop reload booster things basically that make your torpedoes in theory reload a lot faster. There is a cap on how many you can pick up, it's like 4 or 5, but the Kitakami seems like a particularly good choice. I've already done a couple of test runs with it because, well, it's all about the torpedoes and it's also fairly sneaky as well, which is kind of handy. But yeah, I think there was one round already where we got the max number of boosters and the torpedoes went down to like 30-second reload each or something like that. Benham would also be a good choice, but I think a lot of them, it's tempting to get closer when you've got something sneakier like the Benham, and a lot of them, a lot of the opposite, you're facing ships with radar, so it kind of limits how close you can get, and it certainly limits the usefulness of smoke. So we have Defence of Naval Station Newport. This is not actually going to be a fantastic one in terms of hurling torpedoes downrange, just because you're basically firing at torpedoes down to into oncoming enemies, so it's a lot harder to hit them reliably, and also it means picking up the boosters might be a bit trickier, but we might get to pick up some of them. The way they've done it with this, where you actually have to, like with arms race mode, go and physically put your ship in the where the enemy sank, and there's a limited time for you to pick things up as well, so yeah, it's sometimes tempting to push out, try and grab a thing and get sunk in the process. So you kind of just, like, there's a couple of operations where it's not too bad, but others like Final Frontier, where it can actually be kind of tricky to get any of the boosters at all, and you just kind of don't get any benefit to that side of the gameplay, but you can still do, you know, plenty of damage with your regular torpedoes. It's just, it's nice to get the boost to the torpedo reload, and I think the damage gets buffed a bit as well. So yeah, so anyway, let's have a go. This is also, as you can see, sporting the shiny silver camo that I got with the Shinano. I thought it was going to be linked to the Shinano, but no, the steel camo from that armory event, or whatever you want to call it. It's just a linkable tier 10 perma camo. You can stick it on any tier 10 ship, so I decided to stick it on this, and I think I had an effect left over as well from the Christmas stuff. So yeah, so there we go. That's one of the boosters. I could go and try and pick that up, maybe. It might actually be safe for me to do so. But the circle slowly shrinks as the ships, the shipwrecks go down, basically. Right, I think we're going to be okay. I think I can just nip in and get those. We'll use the speed boost. It's a useful feature on the Kitakami for this particular mode. And we'll see if we can pick up some of those boosters before they disappear. Haven't even had a chance to do any damage yet, but I don't think we'll be lacking for opportunities. Probably the best one in terms of doing raw damage I've found is actually Aegis. But Aegis is, I mean, Aegis is kind of a hard one with the higher tier ops to get a 5-star anyway, and sometimes it's even possible to just outright fail. And I think I've experienced more outright failures in this test mode with ops. as well, just because some of the ships that you are facing, the flagships have a heck of a lot more health to chew through, and it was a little easier with the double fire mechanic going on, because it was easier to get those double fires on and not have to worry about actually chasing after the boosters to get any benefit. And of course it's only the ships with torpedoes that do get a benefit from the torpedo reload buff. So there we go, we've picked up damage, we've picked up some relays. We're now at 43 seconds with I think 3 boosters, and I think we can get maybe 2 more. I've got adrenaline rush as well, so if I take any damage that can lower it even further. Right, let's focus on the deep waters for now, because those will do the most to the battleships. I'm going to be careful about getting spotted here. We could maybe switch to the regular ones for the LB. So there we go. I've already taken like half the Amagi's health, which is not too shabby. You can rack up some quite chonky, serious amounts of damage. I think my record so far, I can't remember what ship it would have been in. I like probably a cruiser, like a Smolensk score. I don't know, something like that. Some fast firing thing with the fire mechanic in play. I think I've managed about 800,000 just with the extra hit points you have to chew through for the super ships. Although in this case it's the Yamagiris, which are still, you know, 80,000 on a destroyer is a lot of health for a destroyer, but compared to like 200,000 health on a Satsuma or whatever special variant. I think it's usually the Satsuma they do for the special flagships for the battleship versions. Yeah, it's a lot of extra hit points you can rack up. And it's always nice to see the big numbers. Right, unfortunately that's going to miss, and of course I'm not going to do anything with the Brindisi, but we've already done some damage. That's fine. Where's this Yamagiri going? They kind of look like they're going to run into the island, but no, I think they're going on the other side. I think the Goliath and the Schlieffen, yeah, they should not struggle too hard there. The Njord, actually, that's another one I'm going to be looking at very soon. I actually debated looking at it for this video, but that is just for this mode, and you know, it having torpedoes, it would also benefit quite a bit from those buffs. Although the torpedoes are not particularly strong, but they do have a very, very nice range, which is useful for ops, but also useful, of course, for random battles. I think it's Erland torps, but with like extra range. Ooh, let's not eat a torpedo. This does have a heal, and we can go and heal, but I'd rather not have to go back to heal if I don't have to. I think we'll ignore those. Oh, actually no, we've got enough time and sneakiness, I think, to try and do it. Right, you go. Come on then, let's have a go. Right, unfortunately we lost the Schlieffen, that's a little unfortunate. I think I can get to one of those before it goes down. Maybe even 2. I just want to see if I'm remembering correctly about how fast the reload ticks down. Right, I got briefly spotted there, because of course I did. I temporarily forgot. This is sneaky, but it's not destroyer sneaky. So yeah, we do have the smoke there, and we're just gonna get one of these of the 3 I could have snagged if potentially had somehow been magically faster. But there we go, 37 seconds now on that reload. And we'll drop the torpedoes towards where that Yamagiri is gonna be. They should be able to get there in time. Be fun if they made the torpedoes like even faster as well, on top of all the other buffs. That might be a little bit too nutty. Right, we're about to get spotted. See if I can knock out that Rugamo. The guns on this are not exactly fabulous, but they do exist, so sometimes it's worth popping away at something, even if it's want to do a huge amount of damage. It's a little bit extra. You might set a fire, especially if it's a destroyer. It's not going to have a huge amount of health anyway. Right, there we go. Excellent. We've knocked out the the buffing ship. To be honest, the fact that they buff the enemies, the bots' torpedoes capabilities, it's you kind of don't notice it that much because in these high tier ops, the torpedoes tend to be dangerous enough anyway. So them being even more dangerous, it's like they were already quite dangerous. It sort of doesn't, practically speaking, make that much of a difference, if that makes any sense. I mean, you know, they're still going to be that bit more deadly, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. You might take a couple less torpedoes to sink than you would have otherwise. Right, I'll take a bit of a chance here, going pew-pew like this. But we've actually got another smoke available. So, I'll make use of that. And I think that rune actually is going to breach the barrier, which is unfortunate. So, this, I feel like we could have. We've only lost 2 ships. I kind of feel like we didn't necessarily need to be in this position, but oh well, never mind. We do have torpedoes available, so I'll put them out. Building could turn me a new one, but we'd have to basically get back to safety ASAP. I do have less than a minute on my smoke, but I might just get like obliterated by incoming battleship fire. There's not a lot I can do about that. And now I'm getting picked up by the Hydro. Sort of limits my options slightly. Right, Hindenburg, can you sink please? Here's a question. And that should be yes very shortly, but not before I lose some health. Woo-hoo-hoo. Anytime a battleship shell comes in, it's very dicey, because it could just be the thing that obliterates you. This is a Kuma hull. Right, so we've picked up the maximum number of buffs. We are now at 29 seconds, with a little bit of a extra kick from Adrenaline Rush in there. So, I guess let's just put out a massive wave of the torps, because they reload so quickly now that you might as well just start really spamming the things out. There's not much point trying to be super tactical about it at this stage. So, I don't know if I can turn around in time. No, let's switch rather to the regular torps, and we can put out a decent chunk. Oh, actually the poison might be worth putting out some torps before it gets into the shadow of that island. The 12-kilometer ones are quicker overall, which is why it flicks like that. But I mean, these now have been buffed to a fairly respectable 17k damage, so it's not to be complained about especially. So yeah, let's see what kind of damage numbers I can rack up. And helping, it might be worth putting some torps out against you. That wave of torps has almost reached the Yamato. It's at quite a long distance, so I'm not expecting... 5's not bad, but yeah, it's kind of at the stage where it's fairly spread out, so yeah, it isn't necessarily going to be a knockout blow. That looks a little bit better on the Preußen. 7, and there we go, that actually did knock out the Preußen. That's very nice. Up to over 300k. We're going to get some hits into the Clausewitz. Also very nice. Let's go for you. The main downside of anything at this point is that you've got to be toiling around in a ship that, I mean, it's fairly maneuverable for a cruiser, but it ain't no destroyer. No, it's the Claushevitz I want to tag on to. Somewhat close to getting spotted. But I do have my smoke, so I'm not overly concerned right now. I will pop that just now. We're about to come into detection range. There are also German hydros to worry about. There's not really radar in this one, but a lot of the other ops. Well, I say a lot of the other ops actually. I think it is just Ultimate Frontier. Yeah, it will be Ultimate Frontier. There's a lot of radar to worry about. Most of the others, it's hydro of some description. Right, slowly ticking up on some flood damage from somebody. Possibly the Yamato. Swap back to... So the Satsuma is way back there. Other than us getting, you know, tripping the main assault a little bit early, this has gone pretty well. Right, Claushevitz is the Claushevitz that sank. Right, Yamato, have some torpedoes. We're about to get another wave out there, and we're well and truly spotted at this point, so we might as well go pew pew pew. The guns taking some of the... There we go. I do wonder, and I might have to test this later, I do wonder if the torpedo buffs will apply to carriers somehow. You're going to thread the needle on all of those torpedoes, that's it. But I don't know how the reload would affect carriers, like how would you do that? Faster torpedo plane replenishment, I guess? Oh, I put the wrong torpedoes out. Never mind, those could be doing more damage. Occasionally one forgets what torpedoes one actually has loaded. Also, that is a cat in the background making noise. Hello, Sam. He's playing with the bag that some of my Christmas presents came in. Of course, the real present was the bag, the big paper bag for Sam to play with, and Archie, of course. But you know, somebody had to find the excuse to give me the bag for Sam, so it had a present or two in it. But we all know that His Majesty's presence is the real gift. Yes. And now he's licking his bum. I just thought you should know that, you know, but he's doing it in a regal manner, of course, because he's a cat. And everything they do is regal, even when it's not. It's kind of like papal infallibility, except feline something. There's probably a word, and I'm just not thinking of what the word is. Right, is that going to hit? I don't think we're going to go there. Oh, just shy of 500,000 damage. But that's not bad. So 3 out of 5, not terrible, and the rewards are actually increased in this mode as well. So over 2k XP in an operation, not bad at all. So having said what I said about destroyers, I am actually going to give one a go, and I haven't taken the Black out for a spin in a little while, so let's try that. It's got pretty powerful torpedoes, but they're also very, very slow. The reload is, however, for an American destroyer, pretty decent. Well, an American destroyer that's not the Benham. You get the like the Johnson or the Halford or the Fletcher, or I'm trying to think if there's any others at tier 9, but they tend to have 2-minute plus reloads, and it's the Benham that's the real outlier, but its torpedoes also do a little bit less damage. But yeah, let's see how the USS Black and its sea mines do. The Johnston, by the way, is actually one of the ones I got from a Christmas crate. I think it was a certificate crate, or I don't know. I bought a couple of crates as well, and something popped out of them, and I can't remember what it was. But we'll definitely give that a look also at some point. Anyway, yeah, let's give the Black a go. Okay, Raptor Rescue. This might be interesting. I haven't actually done Raptor Rescue in this mode yet, so I don't know which groups of ships are going to have the mini bosses with them, but I guess we'll see. The radar actually might come in useful once or twice as well, especially when you get the destroyers coming at you from this particular area, and of course the carrier down there also gets smoked up, so maybe some opportunities to use it. Probably the biggest strike against using the Black in any operation, and this is why it's going to be a bit of a challenge, is yes, you've got the enemies coming from generally predictable directions, but the maps are all either reuses of existing maps, or I think actually, in fact, I think maybe all of them are unique maps. Having said that, I'm trying to think, are there any ops that use existing maps? I don't know. No, I've said that. I don't think there are. But yeah, they tend to be maps where faster torpedoes are better, because you don't necessarily have the wide open spaces with where enemy ships are coming from in order to successfully lead your torpedoes enough. So we might actually do a drop of smoke here, just to start with, so we can do a little bit pew-pews, and also gives a bit of cover going across. Helps out my allies a little bit. Velos, I don't actually know if Velos has smoke or not. It's one I don't have. It's another Fletcher class, I know that much. I kind of wish I'd been able to get its special camo when it came out, but sadly that was not possible. Yeah, see how much lead these torpedoes need. They are so slow. Right, the Azuma's dead already. Yeah, I may struggle to hit any torpedoes in this one. I may have challenged myself a bit too far and shown exactly why you shouldn't take the USS Black into an operation, but we'll see. Who knows? They've got decent range at least. They've actually got slightly better than the Fletcher's normal range. Right, radio location is saying to the south, so that's fine. Ping that for my allies. We don't have a CV that can pop up some spotter planes for us, although sometimes you just fire off a few rounds if you've got enough range and get spotted, and that's how you know you've been that's how you know the stuff's going to spawn up there. I don't know, I might have to wait till basically ambush range in order to use these torpedoes effectively. We'll see what the spawns are like. This one does have a couple of variations based on where your exit point is. Right, we can tell there's a flagship with that group somewhere because they've got a symbol on them. So we will I guess see if we can spot that. It's probably a destroyer. Sadly, there's no option of the speed boost on this. Another way in which it's maybe not the most optimal ship for operations, but yeah, let's get our torpedoes out now, start the reload process. And you're already turning, so these are probably all going to miss. Never mind. I might actually try and spot the carrier. Right, that Velos is getting pretty close, but you know, they presumably have Fletcher style stealth, so look at all the torpedoes going past my torpedoes. It's not there. Actually, the Pan-Asian cruisers, I mean, they are very squish. They are very, very squish, but they do actually have good torpedoes and torpedo boosters. It's just, of course, they cannot hit the they can't hit the destroyers that you encounter at all. Right, these planes are going to spot me soon. Because CVs in Ops get to cheat and basically know where you are if you're a destroyer. Which is quite annoying in some operations, as one might imagine.
Ship is on fire. Critical engine damage.
Right, might as well turn on.
Problem solved, sir.
I'm just gonna put torpedoes downrange and see if that's anywhere close to what the Hakuryu, to the path it's going to take.
Torpedoes to port.
Yeah, if you're going to take something in like a small stealthy ship, whether it be stealthy for a cruiser like the Kitakami or a destroyer, and it's an op where you have planes, it tends to somewhat hamper your effectiveness. Hello, Percy. What's the meowing about? Are you having a bit of a... Okay. I'm having a bit of a squabble. I'm actually really conflicted because I like Percy a lot. He's a really charming little kitty cat. But him and Sam... yeah, Sam tolerates him. It's kind of like the situation where with Percy, where at best Sam tolerates him. And Archie kind of stays out his way, but not as much as Percy did. So, yeah, it's been a kind of not infrequent occurrence to get this kind of squabbles happening, sadly. So I would have like if they'd decided to be besties. Archie is such a cute, charming little fellow. I would have absolutely wanted to keep a hold of him for sure, but as it is, I might still just do what the original plan was, and you know, I am fostering him, so he can go on to an actual foster home with a kitty that does want to be friends, because I get the sense he's that kind of cat. He really would like to have another kitty cat to be friends with, or even a friendly dog. I don't know. It actually took him quite a while to get to the point where he was okay with having a human pet him. But I've made some pretty good progress in that regard, at least. It's just he's not especially careful when it comes to using his claws sometimes. Sam is very, very good about that. But Archie is apparently unaware just how squishy and easily sliceable humans are. And so, I actually got the kill. Yeah, I have accrued more than a few scratches on my hands and even one or two on my face. Because he's observed the fact that Sam likes to gently pat my face sometimes in the morning to encourage me to wake up just that little bit faster. To get food now, father. Where is my food, father? You must feed me, father. Yeah, Sam has a particular, you know, it's kind of like Little Shop of Horrors. Feed me, Seymour, feed me. Anyway, yes. Gosh, I'm wittering today. Archie has observed this and decided he's going to sometimes try patting me on the face as well, except he does it with claws, which is not so pleasant. So, yeah. Not that I'm obsessed with Samuel or anything. No. So yeah, he's a lovely wee cat, and I would happily hold on to him, and I think it's going to be tough to give him up. But it's probably best for him and it's best for Sam. Because ultimately it's about what is best for the kitty cats. And I guess I kind of knew going into doing fostering that there might well be occasions where it would not be the easiest thing to send the cat off to a new home. And granted, Archie's only my second foster, but yeah. He's just such a charming wee fellow. Right, looks like Hoffman is going for... Hoffman would be a real good choice for this torpedo focused iteration, actually. Hoffman's got very good torpedoes. Well, compared to the Elving, which is not a hard thing to surpass, but yeah. So there we go. Torpedoes are now 65 seconds. That's not great, but not terrible. Actually, that is pretty great. I don't know why I said it like that. I don't know. I got distracted by cats, and I've lost focus on things that aren't cats at this point, clearly. Right, we've managed a whole 4 torpedoes so far. I don't think we're going to be getting the 500,000 damage somehow. I probably could have picked a better destroyer for this. I was just like, oh yeah, like, I haven't played that in a while. Let's give that a go. Let's see how that does. Yeah, there's a reason why I haven't taken it into ops. It's just not a great ship for ops. Okay, this Jinan is a little bit in my way, sadly. But I think we'll be able to smoke up and just pew pew very soon. So we've got a Satsuma there with 250,000, just a casual 250,000 hit points to go through, which is like, what did the Rasputins have in some of the versions of Halloween Ops? They had like 200k, so it's even more than the Rasputins. Right, we're actually going to put the torpedoes out for the Satsuma, just because it's got so much health that they've got a decent chance of getting there while it's still alive. Even though, like, that Azuma is in the lead, for example. Right, so we haven't gotten a lot of the buffs in this one, just because, you know, you're killing stuff off in the distance, and if you're chasing after the buffs, it means leaving Raptor alone. And sometimes people are going to want to do that anyway. Unfortunately, in Raptor, you will occasionally see people basically abandoning the friendly CV to go hunt the enemy CVs, which is kind of annoying. I think the only thing that's more annoying in an operation is Narai, when like 4 of 7 players decide they absolutely must go and hunt the transports, and there's not a lot you can do about it at that point. Even if they get all the way to the inner harbour area, they then just get completely shredded. Right, those wrecks are in the way, and the Satsuma has actually manoeuvred enough that my incredibly slow torpedoes and the wrecks have meant that I've had absolutely no joy. Still sitting at only 4 torpedo hits. I'm almost tempted to just, like, record another bit, pretend none of this ever happened, but then you wouldn't get to hear my mad wittering about cats. And did you just block all of my torpedoes, Jinan? Oh, okay, thank you very much. Yeah, you wouldn't get to hear all my mad wittering about cats, which is obviously the content that people are really tuning into my channel for. Because I am a sane person I'm totally hinged. Definitely not unhinged. 100% hinged. I am all hinge. Yes. I think I'm also a bit loopy today because I slept very poorly last night. Not entirely sure why, although we've had some windy weather here, so that doesn't help when it gets windy and noisy. Right, I just got this Satsuma to chew through, and then there will be basically a pair of cruisers that pop up here once the Raptor gets a bit closer. I think we're going to struggle to even break 100k. I'm just going to sail up here close to where I think the spawns are going to come in, and then we're just going to blast somebody with torpedoes at close range. And I might pick up more damage that way if I don't get blasted myself first. Oh, in fact, there we go. I was thinking we might have a moment to have a breather, but no. Right, let's see if we get close enough to this Clausewitz to clobber it before it clobbers me. there's a fire.
Critical engine
Of
damage.
course, it's got torpedoes as well, and its rear turrets will be on me in any moment, but it doesn't matter if I sink at this point. Yay, over 100k damage, that's all that matters. 130k, there we go, we've got the Clausewitz. I think there'll be another paracruiser spawning, but, well, we know how this one ends, so yeah, I'll meet you back in the port. So there we go, I didn't do too badly, 1400 base XP. The Jinan, unsurprisingly, like fast-firing cruisers, even though we're now on the torpedo version of this, fast-firing cruisers can still pick up a considerable amount of damage, even if you're not quite getting the turbo fire damage that you were getting previously. Yeah, so if you take anything from this, it's the USS Black, not great for operations. Basically anything that has decent stealth and fast-firing torpedoes is going to be a better choice than this. So like I said, the Hoffman, Yuga mode maybe, although it might struggle a little bit. Benham definitely. You've got other things that are still solid but have a much longer torpedo reload, or things that have a fast-ish reload, but I mean Tromp only has 3 torps per side, so even though it's a fast reload, even though the buffs would help, you're still not, you still don't have that much torpedo punch, although you've also got the airdrops, which actually would be quite useful for Cherry Blossom, being able to airdrop on the airfield, so not a terrible choice in that regard. Anyway, yeah, so operations with flagships, it does feel like it is basically like a beta test mode maybe for further integrations into the main branch of operations to spice things up a bit. I am entirely in favour of that. There is a 3rd different style flagship we're going to get, and then if I remember correctly, they're basically going to have it randomised after the 3rd one's had its go. So they're sort of picking up data for each one in turn, and then they're just going to throw them in a random pool, and so people can't choose ships that are particularly suited. They're just going to have to try and make do with what they've got. So yeah, overall the mode is pretty fun, and it's a nice little switch up on regular operations, and I can't see why it won't make its way into regular operations at some point, or some variation of it. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed my weird cat rambling, you can do all the usual things down underneath it, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.